Oh, it's recording. Hi. Ignore the fact that I'm so dark. I'm sitting on the floor of my room because I wanted to be grounded doing this. No, I'm just down here. Whatever. Don't pay me any attention in this corner. I am not important. What's important is this chart right now. I get a lot of different requests for breakdowns, and I decided, like, hey, why not make this a thing? And why not start with one of the people who is influencing all of our lives at such a high capacity right now? Please ignore the little antivirus box stuff. It's just here to ruin my life until I feel like buying an antivirus software. All right, let's get over here to Mr. Trump. It's important to start off with the fact that he is, in fact, a Leo rising. This means he came to take the path of the leader. And for him, he has that in 29 degrees. 29 degrees is a critical degree. Critical degrees means that you are either learning the last part of a lesson or beginning the new part of a lesson. And for him, he is learning the last part, which leads me to believe this guy has been a leader somewhere else before. Who that is, I'll leave for you to investigate and come up with your ideas because he's definitely been a leader quite a few times. If you look at where his north node is, which is funny, up here, it's quite a few degrees in, which means he's tried this again. You don't get to have your degree this far up in there without that being the case. Okay, so he's a leader, he's an old leader, he's been here for a long time. What is hidden about Donald Trump, which is probably the most important part of this chart, is his anger. When you have Mars in Leo at 12, you are the person with the hidden anger, hidden rage. But this also means that in order to get this rage out, you do it in shifty ways. You are the secret tactic person. You don't let anybody know your moves until they're already made. Somebody can get an idea that you're annoyed, but they have no idea how bad you're really going to fuck them up. What does this come out in? Well, the first house is ruled by Aries, so it's just in who he is as a person. But since Aries is in his chart in the ninth house, this means foreign lands, the place where most of his anger will get taken out on. Foreign lands, other people who have philosophies about him, anything that comes against his what he believes is. Having Aries in the ninth house means you have a strong set of principles, and you typically don't waver from them. Now, the interesting thing is Uranus, which is the planet of radical change, is in Taurus right now. That means that through the course of the next 4 years, his beliefs will drastically change from the Aries perspective to the Taurus perspective, which means whatever he does is going to rock his world so much that he's going to only want peace after what happens here. Which is, I mean, hey, that could be anything, but that's an interesting take. It will actually change his whole persona because you can see he has Gemini on most of his 10th house. The 10th house is about reputation. But at the end, right here, during some transits, he will be known as like the peaceful dude or the dude known for his voice or something else besides just his fucking mouth. Okay, so also in there, we have Pluto in the 12th house. This is somebody who has some radical changes or blows to their self-esteem because Pluto and Leo is a transformation to the self-esteem over time. With that being in the 12th house, that means that it's part of his undoing, whatever that transformation or whatever that blow is. And I'm finding that amusing because that means Obama's son is right up in here somewhere. That this is the house of your own undoing. This is the house of hidden enemies, reincarnation, karma, all the stuff that pretty much can help a person get to the next life with their karma handled or have a rough life this time because they have not got over it. Uh, Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. Where is Scorpio in his chart? Ah, it is in the third house and the fourth house, which means his words are secretive and something about things that go on in his house are secretive. It's about control with Scorpio, control, secrets, uncovering and bringing things to the light. And I mean, I haven't seen him bring anything to the light yet, but maybe he's working on it. I'm not sure. But what was that? Just ignore that, guys. My computer is just so disrespectful. But it's coming up. The way he speaks, actually, his third house of communications is in Libra, which means this is a person that speaks to be fair, about mutuality. This is a person who probably in their alone time likes poetry and shit. I'm finding out all sorts of stuff. We don't even know this guy. He just puts up a front. It's that damn rising, I tell you. And the mouth, because he has Gemini. That's a whole other thing. Let's stay down here right now. His third house is in Libra, which is usually somebody who comes to speak balance. It's also important to realize if it started off that way, Scorpio is also in the cusp. So the Libra energy is there, and if he walks into that, that's actually where his Jupiter is, where his life will multiply, where things will be great for him, staying in that balanced energy of working for all. The Scorpio energy takes up the last ends of that, along with the beginning of his family house, which means there's a lot of secrets when he speaks. He doesn't always say what he wants to, and that leads right back to this right here, this 12th house, the fact that he's sneaky with his rage, and now we know he's sneaky with his words. Now, what is in his 8th house? Pisces. That means that a lot of issues that he had in childhood, he doesn't even remember, but they motivate everything that he does now. There's also Aries in there, which means some sexual aggression. I mean, I guess we could have assumed that, but that also relates to where he gets out. This rage about his identity, this rage about his secrets. Poor Melania. This also signifies that when it is time for him to pass, it will be something like a drowning. Um, what else? Or he could die peacefully in his bed, or something with his lungs, like pneumonia or a fluid infection or anything like that, for those people who have been worried about what his death is supposed to be. But there is also the Aries in there, which gives him an opportunity that could be a violent death, a shooting, or something that includes blood or blood force trauma. With his moon in Sagittarius, this means that his feelings are that of a philosopher. He really believes everything he's saying to you. And his mom is the one who encouraged him to be this type of person at home when he was little. He learns a lot. He enjoys learning a lot. And he enjoys telling you his spin on what he learns. His Chiron, which is the wound that he can't heal no matter what, is in the sign of Libra. Because that's the sign of partnership. It's in his 2nd house of belongings. I'm guessing the fact that he never gets a rich wife probably bothers him. It's always somebody who's sort of after his money. And for a person who secretly has a little bit of romantic in them, that probably sucks. He probably had to harden himself to deal with the fact that every woman that came to him for his money. That's also why Neptune, which is the planet that belongs to Pisces, and his intimate relationships in his sex life is all up in his partnerships. Nobody actually wants him for him, or probably even knows who he actually is because of all of this going on, and because of Scorpio in his 4th house, which is the root of who he is. Trying to see if they'll let me know what his IC is, because it's not very clear here. But I would guess it will be in Scorpio. That means that when this guy is alone, he's like Bill Gates. He doesn't like to talk to anybody. He likes to learn and just sit by himself and figure shit the fuck out. He is the decoder. But all this over here, this Leo house, is what makes him seem so arrogant to us. He actually has majority of his 1st house in Virgo. This is a healer. This is somebody who's supposed to help. This is somebody who came to see the flaws in other people and tighten them up. Essentially, the Virgo is work, partnership, healing. It belongs to the 6th house, and his 6th house is in Aquarius. Aquarius is for the people. Aquarius is to help others. Aquarius is all about making the collective better. And what goes with that, to bring that all together? Mercury. Is Mercury, oh, that's not it, don't let me point at that. Mercury points is ruled by Virgo, and it technically rules that 6th house. So his Mercury is in Cancer. I feel so confused because I watch this guy talk all the time, and I try not to judge, love and like and shit. But this seems like a person who actually cares. Looking at this chart, this is somebody who is set up to be an amazing leader. And when you have Mercury in Cancer, your mind and the way you speak are from the perspective of a person who cares about people. You can't help but be sensitive to the things you hear when you have Mercury in Cancer, which is also in retrograde right now. So you might see him backtracking on some stuff or changing things up. But this is a person whose mind literally was built to care, and they were supposed to use their words to do that. That connects back to his 3rd house too, in Libra. You're supposed to use that in law and mutuality, and it's so confusing how this is coming up right now. I did not read this before I started reading it to you guys because I wanted to be authentic. His sun is in Gemini, also at a critical degree. Let me run that down there because this website is sort of hard today. Oh no, it's not at a critical degree, but it's at the end. He's been a mouthpiece for a very long time. With his sun in Gemini, I guess that's the sort of makes him go back and forth or understand two different perspectives of thinking. Because his fifth house is in Capricorn. Okay, the fifth house rules the sun. His sun is in Gemini in the fifth house. I'm sorry, his sun is in Gemini in the 10th house, but that rules his fifth house in Capricorn. So he is a businessman, Mike. You didn't know that, right? His creativity comes through that of a businessman. I don't know if that was necessarily the best thing for a president, but the rest of this would have been what rules Capricorn? Saturn. Where is his Saturn? In 11. So that means him being a businessman, his business mindedness is blocking him from caring for people like he should. It's giving him a hard time understanding what nurturing is, and that business is separate from actually caring about the people. Nobody cares about numbers when we're dying. But that is where he is being pulled. And actually, interestingly enough, so because Pluto and Saturn are actually up in here right now in natural transits, he's learning that that businessman thing is not going to work for long. And he actually has to the end of the year where that lesson will reach ahead in learning he can't be a businessman. Then after that, for the next 2 years, he'll be learning what it's like to be a humanitarian. This is some good shit. What it's like to be a humanitarian. His Venus is also in Cancer in 11th. That means that the greatest wealth he would have ever achieved would have been being good to the people. He's twist of fate. Everything that he ever wanted, the love and adoration and the caring for people, is linked to this fifth. Why did it do that? Okay, to this fifth and 11th access. He had to go from thinking of everything as a bit to freaking care. Why is my screen paused? I'm sorry, y'all. This is so disrespectful and ghetto. May I add? But I might stop sharing the screen, I guess, because he's struggling. Don't look at me. He was meant to give a fuck, and him not giving a fuck is his undoing. His North Node is in the 10th house. He came to be a famous speaker. He came to receive authority. He came to be that dude, but he came to be a sensitive version of that dude. So for my interpretation of what happens over the course of the next year, a couple months, he won't be the same person when he fights against it. He's out of there because that's how life does you. You got to stay on your path. And there's some moments here that he's not developing from. Hope y'all enjoyed. Did I stop recording? It's like all further now. Come on. Man. Oh, now it's just on me. That's great. Hope y'all are enjoying that book. I've been looking special this whole time trying to figure out why my computer is so disrespectful. Like, why now? Use it all the time, and this doesn't happen. Thanks for joining me, guys. We came to do this, and we came to learn some harsh lessons if he doesn't do it right. I don't know what that means for us, as we're a big part of this lesson, but kumbaya, y'all.